we are again, episode 40. Mike Rivera, welcome to the show, bud.
It's good to be in El Paso.
We'll get into that, man. You know, you've had quite the adventure the last probably 48 hours, if not more.
Yeah, give or take.
Something like that, but we'll get into that because it's kind of comical, but yet whatever, it is what it is. Kind of start out. Joe's not here yet, ladies. He's kind of under the weather and kind of being a puss about it, but
yeah, it could have been his flu game, but
yeah, he's pulling the chute. I think. I wonder how the weather is about 3,200 feet. I guess we should probably ask Joe.
Yeah, who knows?
You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, Joe's a little under the weather. He split this past weekend. Friday night they came out. They played well. They really did. Their goalie, Colorado's goalie, stood on his head, in my honest opinion, and we pulled one out. And Saturday night was a little bit different.
Yeah, it was a little bit. That goalie from Colorado played really well all weekend because he had to make some saves on Saturday too.
Yeah, but that's you can't. You got to score.
You have to find a way.
Got to find a way, and unfortunately we didn't. We lost. What is it? 5 rip. They got 2 in the last couple of minutes, and just kind of it was a yard sale towards the end. Yeah. But this weekend NA plays New Mexico. New Mexico came off a big win. They swept at home, which is good for them. I believe that's what they did.
Yeah, they had a whole event going on there this weekend.
Yeah,
got a lot of love in New Mexico this weekend from the NA Instagram.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah. There's all kinds of posts at their rink, and because they had the NAP stuff going on there too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
big. Anyway, yeah, lots of stuff going on there, so I know where you're getting with that. But yeah, so they're coming in this weekend. It should be a good test again for the Rhinos. Hopefully they get 4 points this weekend, and then should be good. I know it's been a tough week of practice this week for the NA. Lot of skating for the fellas, so I don't really know.
Yeah, our ice was a little bit beat up when we got on.
Little chewed up, eh, Mikey?
Yeah, there's a couple spots that were still freezing.
Well, you should be used to it after coming out of Atlanta, or pardon me, out of Louisiana.
Oh yeah, we could have been missing a chunk of the ice and would have been better.
But anyway, your weekend this past weekend up in Louisiana, you won on Friday night in overtime, which was a huge win, huge win for the guys. Saturday night, not so good.
No, Saturday night was a huge letdown from where we had been. We were riding a 3-game streak. Friday we played to our identity. Went down 2 rip pretty early and had to dig our way out of it. We like to make things difficult on ourselves. Why make it easy? And then Saturday we were a team that decided that we were good now, and all we had to do was just show up. And nobody wanted to work. Nobody wanted to compete. And if you think that the defending division champ, and there's only one division champ. I don't know about all this regular season nonsense. There's only one division champ, and that's Louisiana. And if you thought that they were, after getting beat in their barn on a Friday night, that they were going to roll over and not just come out with a head full of steam, you're crazy. And that's exactly what they did, and they just absolutely took it to us. And we looked like a different hockey team. And the score reflected it.
And then, obviously, coming in Sunday, you guys played a lot better. Was really back and forth until really late in the third.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of, I'm not going to say fell apart, but just you come up short because you guys played well. In my opinion, you guys played well.
Yeah, I really liked our effort on Sunday. 3-3 on the road in a really tough environment, fun environment, but really tough environment to play in. And we played to our identity. We did all the right things. We couldn't put the puck in the net. The power play, I think, let us down on Sunday big time. You can use the excuse the ice is bumpy, whatever.
Both teams are playing on it.
That's right, exactly. And I
get so tired. We don't do it, but years past, like complaining about, oh man, the ice is the shits. Oh man, the puck's not frozen. Well, both teams are playing with it or on it.
100%.
The official's shitty both ways. Both teams are having to deal with.
Yeah, 100%.
I get so old when people,
Yeah,
I'm not saying you are. That's not what I'm saying, but
no,
just gets old when people do that.
Yeah, there's no excuse, like none. Like the power play, the guys, like, oh, it's rolling up on us.
Got to get the power play rolling, Reg.
Oh, bad.
Man. Work on the power play, bud.
We're working on it right now. It's getting a little better. It was, and honestly, it was clicking prior to this past weekend, and then we just went to sleep on it. We had one big power play goal, I guess, on Sunday. but we had opportunities to take the go ahead with the power play where we should have.
Yeah.
And we just didn't. And they found the back of the net at like the 7-minute mark, and then we had a D-man blow a tire, and they got the third goal. But then what I did really like was we had resilience. Like this team a month ago, no doubt at that point, fold like a lawn chair, without a doubt. But they dug back in, they chipped away, they got it to 3-2. And we had an opportunity to work to tie the game. You know, you're in a game now, it's got to get the goalie pulled, and we had chances to tie it when it was 3-2. We had multiple chances to tie it when it was 3-2, and we just didn't tuck. And then they got a really, really fortunate bounce, but usually when you work hard and do right things, the bounces seem to go your way.
Yeah.
So puck goes off our D-man in the back of the net, like it is what it is, and so they got 4-2, and I'm a firm believer in a 2-goal minimum. Like, I'm pulling the goalie. I don't care. We're going for it. And so it looks bad on paper, sure. But I hate the mindset of, well, let's protect the score. No, like we're going.
You win or lose. Doesn't matter if it's by 5 or 1.
How are you really going to work on pulling the goalie scenarios if you don't just do it all the time?
You don't do it and practice it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you know, there's teams out there that will just pad that stat. We'd rather lose by 1 or 2 versus 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's just like telling your team that you don't believe in them.
Yeah, 100%. I believe that wholeheartedly. I got to ask you, I'm watching practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm watching power play right now. Has Bradford got tape on his stick?
I don't know if he had tape today, because I noticed that too, because you know that our entire team uses white tape on their blade.
Really?
That's why we don't score goals.
Huh. You know, I never knew that.
Yeah.
It's just a little tidbit.
Yeah, and so I was watching him. He usually uses tape, so it must have gotten messed up or something. And so I noticed that, because you can, as you know, I'm watching the power play and I'm watching him receive passes, and I'm like, he's not using black tape, and so I think his blade was just bare today.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. I'm like, dude, hopefully that's not a go-to, Mr. Bradford.
No. You know,
but do you, man? When I played, I was a black tape guy.
Usually the guys that play a little bit harder are.
Yeah? Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just noticed that.
So you're trying to say your team doesn't play hard?
No, I can't say that, because honestly, they've played really hard recently. It's just
calling you out, buddy.
It's just always my go-to when they don't score. I always like Gooch.
Gotta be the tape.
I told Gooch you got to use different tape.
I was going to text him, but I couldn't find his number.
Gooch?
Yeah. On the weekend, just say, you know what, good job.
Yeah,
finally, you know what I mean?
He finally got the monkey off his back. That first tuck, like we talk about all the time, you can't give a good player a bad pass. He takes it right off the skate, right to the tape, puts it top shelf.
And you know, like I've told everybody, like it's one of those things, you just get one and they'll come.
Yeah.
Finally got it, and then you got 2 and a couple of apples, and
4-point night.
Yeah, it's big. So I think he's rolling around now too, and he always looks good. He really does, in my opinion. He's a fun player to watch, and you know, he's got good things coming ahead.
Yeah, as long he's always getting opportunities, they're going to start going in for him. And honestly, for all of us, like I think once we start finding the back of the net, we're gonna win some more games. And
you picked up a new player.
We did. Brooks Fagers we acquired him from Rochester Grizzlies. He was at our main camp in Plymouth, Michigan in July, and really liked him there. He was somebody else's property in the NA3, so we couldn't do anything about it at the time. But loved the way he played. He made it to our All-Star game, and as soon as I saw his name come across the wire, it was a no-brainer for us. Yeah,
and it's good that he's here. You know, during your way back from Louisiana, he was here because he didn't play there. He got here before you guys got back, and he was skating the other day, and he was ripping pucks, and he was out there ripping around, and he looked pretty good, man. He looked pretty good today too. Yeah. I like the way he plays. He brings some. He's like a power forward is what I would classify him as. You know, I would agree. He plays both ends of the ice. I have him on the wing right now. He hasn't played the wing, so that's going to be a bit of an adjustment. But you know, if you're a good player, you can always turn a center into a wing. It's hard to turn a wing into a center, right? So. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's easier. You know, a lot of responsibilities as a centerman. Yeah, and he told me. I mean, you got to love this. Which makes me wonder why I was playing center all the time. I was a center. Did you float the zone? Oh man. Of course. Well, I know in men's league you did. Well, it was just a whistle at the far blue all the time. Well, yeah, shit, man. Like, just give me the puck. Yeah. You know? And Tom would just rip it to you. No, but like when I was playing, you know, obviously I worked hard as a centerman and I'd come back, but like more so when I played pro, you know, obviously you're playing for keeps. Not that you aren't in minor hockey, but you know, when you're earning a paycheck, there's some other guys behind you that would love to take your job. So, my work ethic changed a little bit. I would say for the better. You know what I mean?
Got to play a little 200 feet instead of
Gotta-
100,
yeah,
190.
But it was all good, man.
Yeah, no.
It was all good.
So I asked Fagers, I said, hey, where do you feel most comfortable, wing or middle? And, he said, well, I've been playing middle, but I can play. He said, honestly, other than goalie, I'll do whatever you need.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Have I ever told you my story when I was playing D? So I might have said it before on the podcast, but probably not with you. This is funny.
The new listeners need to hear it.
The new listeners need to hear it. So my defensive ability wasn't the greatest. And I'll be honest, it wasn't. So we're when I'm playing with the Buzzards here, I don't know who we were playing, but we're up like 7-4, 7-3, and there was guys are getting kicked out left and right. And we're short some D. So I think we're down to 4 and we lost 1, so we're at 3. And coach comes down the bench. He's like, "Who?" And we're up. It's the atmosphere's fun. Guys are having a good time. There's like 3 minutes left.
Let's just ride this out.
Yeah. And coach comes down the bench. He's like, "Who wants to play D?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I'll D." And sure enough, I go back on D. I'm -2 in one shift. I'm chasing guys behind the net. I don't even know what I'm doing. And I was with Rob Haddock. He's like, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Couldn't tell you, man. I have no idea."
If you played center, how did you not know what to do beneath the top of the circles? It's the same thing, man.
I know it is, but it was different. Instead of my back to the wall, my chest is to the wall. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And, I was freaking out in left field. So I come off, the coach is like, "You're never playing D again." I said, "No, fair enough."
Well, hey, you got to play professional hockey as a D and a forward.
Yeah, I was probably out there 45 seconds. I was -2. Good stat.
Yeah.
But that was my career playing defense.
That's pretty good.
So Fager, hopefully he's a little bit better than I am if he plays D. Sure he is. Probably not hard to do.
No, it can't be, right?
So, Mikey, you're coming back from Louisiana. This is fun. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. So, it was probably a 5-hour trip.
Yeah, we were supposed to leave at 10:55 and be home before
Louisiana.
Lafayette. So Central Time, and be back about 4:15 El Paso time, which is Mountain. So 5 hours, or 7 hours.
7 hours. Which turned into, you spent 7 hours on the plane.
Yeah, so we ended up getting back last night at Tuesday. We were supposed to be back Monday at 4. We ended up back at 7 p.m.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, it's all like even though what day it is.
Here.
Yeah. So we knew there was weather in Dallas. I had been seeing stuff from Oklahoma City that the sirens were going off and things like that. And there was a bunch of storms and people having to take shelter. And so I saw the storm moving up through there. And so we initially I knew that there was something going on, but I was like, whatever,
We're good.
And what are we going to do about it anyways? And so that morning we got a notification that our flight was delayed. I'm like, whatever, a couple hours. But our bus was leaving at 8 a.m. to the airport, and so we had to go at 8 a.m. Like that was the time that we set.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be there early in case we take off.
Sure.
So it all starts. We're sitting there at the beautiful Lafayette Airport, and actually it's a nice airport. And
Small.
And yeah, it's nice. So I didn't even tell you this part. So Peterson, he got a little bit under the weather. He had some kind of stomach bug, man. And he woke up feeling pretty bad, old Speedy. And he was
Yeah, he is.
he was hurting. And so I went through security and Steve pulled up the rear, making sure all the guys get through. And dude, he's hurting. He's hurting in the line. And so he gets selected to get patted down first.
Of course he does.
And dude, he was puking his brains out. And so,
Wow.
So the guy's patting him down and he's holding in. Steve's like, "Petey, there's a trash can over there." And just pukes insecurity.
TSA awesome.
Yeah, there's a video.
I'm sure
I've been told of him letting it fly in insecurity. And on top of that, he only had his Canadian ID. He didn't bring his passport.
Good for him.
So what do you think happened?
Yeah,
They're like, "You're not getting through.
Yeah.
You're not getting through." So
How does he? Anyway, I'll let you finish the story.
yeah, so that's how it all started, and that was how the day started. So Petey's hurting, so mind you, so we went through all this, and he had a stomach flu the entire time.
Poor bastard.
I know, man. He slept. He honestly slept through almost. I didn't know if he knew where we were, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh man.
so we got delayed quite a while. we're waiting. We finally get out. We're like, all right, cool. Like we were just waiting for the clearance. We get out. We're flying, and I'm like, man, this flight's taking longer than what it should.
What it should.
Yeah, and I guess we were circling around Dallas trying to get clearance to land. They ended up rerouting us so far west, and then this plane that was pretty small, 2-seater on both sides. But you do have a window or an aisle. That's the one benefit.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm trying to look at the positives.
Never looked
here.
at it like that.
And so we end up. They're like, we're gonna have to land in San Antonio because we ran out of fuel. I'm like, awesome. Okay, so we land in San Antonio, and they're like, all right, well, we got to wait an hour. And like, I'm worried about making our connection in Dallas, but that keeps getting pushed back. So we're like, we'll be all right. This will be okay, boys. We're good to go. Starts, 1 hour passes. We don't even have fuel yet. We're waiting in line to get fuel. I don't know why you have to wait in line to get fuel, but we have to wait in line. Another hour passes, and then they kept pushing it back. We finally get the fuel. We don't get clearance. Okay, we took off at 2:45 p.m. from Louisiana. 2:45 p.m. By now, it's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We're still on the plane. And we're still waiting.
You're in San Antonio.
San Antonio. And they won't clear us, like no planes in or out of Dallas at all. So we're sitting there waiting. And so you'd think, hey, maybe we get off the plane, get something to eat. Nope. They stuck us on the plane, and they said, you can get off. You just can't get back on, and you won't get your bags.
There's the kicker.
And so I knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, we're not leaving. We should just get off. But we got 16 players with us that were responsible for getting home, and it's like, you can't just, if it was me by myself, I would have just been like, man, whatever. I'm getting off this thing. Because now it's hot. You know, they shut the engine down. The Wi-Fi's not working. The outlets don't work. And they're like, save the battery on your phone. Well, what are you supposed to do the whole time, right? Can't work. Can't do anything. So you're just like sitting there. And people are starting to get frustrated. You know, they won't let us off. And then so they start giving us rations. This guy's, man, this flight attendant, he was a squid, man. He was just this little nerd, dude. And he was just pissing us off. He's walking around giving us water. And so, you know, the cups are like this. And he's giving us this much water. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, we've been on here for like 5 hours now. I'm like, this is all you're going to give us? And 2 cookies. 2 cookies and a little bit of water. So we got 3 glasses of water like this, 4 cookies, and we were on that tarmac for 5.5 hours. We were on that plane for 7.
I would be livid.
Oh, I thought.
There's really nothing you can do, but you know.
And I will say, like, the guys kept it together. They were making jokes, like we're all kind of chirping. You know, everyone's got something to say, right? Steve. I was worried about him for a little bit. His wires started to cross. He started getting a little claustrophobic on that plane, and so we got stuck for a while. And then finally, after all this nonsense, now they're like, "All right, they canceled us overnight. We're getting off the plane. We're just waiting for a gate." Okay. Then it starts pissing rain in San Antonio. So they send all the flight crews inside so they can't get us to the gate. So then we're on there for another hour. We know we're not leaving. And then we're sitting there for another.
But you can't get off.
But you can't get off. Still there and I'm just thinking, what are we going to do? Everything inside's closed. We got to feed these guys. You know, we got to take care of them. We got to do something. That airport, I guess, usually shuts down about 8 p.m. So they had one person at the ticket counter.
Oh, man.
One person. And they were booting everyone from the terminal, too. So we finally get off. Luckily, this lady was, she was sent down from heaven, because without her, I don't know what would have happened. Because mind you, we're not all on the same reservation. So she went through, she just went by last names, and she went through every single guy and took care of every single person's change.
Oh, that's amazing.
For the next day. And then I'm like, hey, so what about hotels? Like, you just kept us on this plane, you know, and usually they don't with weather, but the fuel and everything like that. So I'm like, help us out with hotels. She's like, we gave out 4,000 hotels. 15 flights got rerouted to San Antonio that day.
Wow.
And they gave out 4,000 hotel rooms, and we got there and there was nothing left. No meal vouchers, no hotel rooms, no nothing. So then now we're scrambling, and we're like, we got to get flights, hotels, and food for these guys, and a ride to the hotel. So we got hotel rooms at the beautiful Days Inn in San Antonio Airport by Wyndham. Nice guy at the counter, though. Real nice guy.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, real nice guy. He took care of us. So then we Uber, and we had to get like 5 Ubers to get the guys there. And then, of course, some of the guys that left on different flights, we ended up with their hockey bags. So not only do we have all of our hockey bags, we have 3 or 4 extra hockey bags that we had to take care of in an Uber and getting them to the hotel. And I know this is a long story, but it was a long trip. And
It's awesome.
so we get outside and it's pissing rain still. So now we're getting in the Uber and we are just soaked. Like all of us are just soaked head to toe. And so there's food nearby. You can't walk because it's just pissing rain. So we get to the hotel. We finally get the guys set up. We get them in rooms. And I'm like, hey, we got to find food. So me and Andres, Shaq, I'm like, come with me. Let's go get. He's such a good kid, man. And so he comes to help me out. Man, so we started at Whataburger. There was like 2 people working. I'm like, dude, it's going to take an hour. No, we got to go. I saw Cane's. I'm like, sweet, let's go. I'm like, hey, dude, like, I'm not getting an Uber from here to here. Like, we're going to jog this thing out. And he's like, yeah, coach, no problem. Like, he's always game. And so he's running in front of me, and I'm watching him. Dude, I'm wearing dress clothes, right? Because we had to travel in dress clothes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we're both in dress shoes. He's wearing leather dress shoes, okay?
Poor guy. I know where this is going.
And he's sprinting, man. And we're going. And, dude, he hits one puddle. He hits another puddle. And he starts, and the water's like sprinting and rushing at him, like it's like flooded, and he just goes down. I swear he's up to his knees in water, and he's just like, oh, and I'm watching him, and I'm dying. He almost goes down, and so then I just go the other way. I'm like, I'm not going through that. I still ended up in a puddle, got a whole my shoes are they're probably still wet. His pants were all muddy, full of water, and then we have to sit there. Luckily, the people at Cane's were awesome. They got us a bunch of food, a jug of tea, a jug of lemonade.
That's good.
I got a couple pictures for you. We were sitting at the Days Inn in a little breakfast room, and they let us set up in there, and the guys were like, you would have thought it was the first meal, they've ever eaten. They were so hungry. We were all so hungry. We got a couple hours of sleep, wake up, and we're like, all right, Steve's like, hey, I got the shuttle scheduled for the morning. I'm like, sweet. Perfect. We're good to go. We don't have to worry about Ubers, right? You got to be fiscally responsible here, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so he's like, I got it scheduled. Okay. Well, let's leave early, Steve, just in case. Flight, we woke up to another flight delay. We're like, oh, okay, whatever. We got a little bit of time. So we leave a little later. Well, this shuttle's a minivan. One guy who works the counter, he also drives the shuttle. So he's checking people in while driving the shuttle and getting on the road. And so it took us an hour and 20 minutes to get everybody shuffled.
My God.
To the hotel, to the airport. Then we get to the airport. There's about 300 people in line. And I'm like, dude, what are we going to do? Like, we're not making it through this line. Some lady helped me. The lady from the night before saw us, and she was like, you guys are the hockey team, right? And I said, yeah. I said, what are we supposed to do? I was like, we're not making it through this line. I got to get 16 players through this line. Our flight leaves at this time. Like, what are we going to do? I said, we're here two and a half hours early, and I don't think we're going to make it. She let us cut the line, and there were some pissed off people.
I bet there were.
There were some pissed off people. And so I had to stand there. I stood there for about an hour checking every single bag. Sent the boys through. We got some food. We're waiting. Your flight's delayed. Your flight's delayed. Your flight's delayed. Just kept getting pushed back. And I asked him, I'm like, why is it delayed this time? It's sunny. It's beautiful outside. What are we doing here? We were waiting for a flight attendant. I'm like, dude, you can't make this stuff up. So now I'm like, we're not making our connection. I mean, I'm talking to you on the phone the whole time. I'm like, you're like, yeah, you ain't making it. And you're like, yeah, I kind of feel bad for you. I'm like, oh, it's pretty rough, man. So all the boys.
Keyword, kinda.
Kinda, yeah. So all the boys, Speedy's still kind of hurt and he ain't the same. And the boys, but they're being good. They're being good sports about the whole thing. And I credit to them because they could have been just complaining and just being soft about the whole thing. They leaned into it. And we even had a guy, like I told you, came up and said, I don't know how these kids are keeping it together right now, but they're doing it. They're doing it. And I'm like, it's because they know the repercussions if they don't. But credit to the kids. They did a good job. And so we finally get out, and I'm like, we ain't making our connection. We finally get out. Sure enough, we miss our connection in Dallas. So then we go right to the counter, get everybody rescheduled again. All the bags are in different places now. Some kids got air tags on their bags, which is smart.
Yeah.
And they realize their bags aren't coming with it. So we're like, what are we going to do? I don't even know if we can practice in the morning now. and they gave us meal vouchers. They gave us a whole $12 a person.
Wonderful.
So you could buy one French fry at the airport. And, we finally got on the plane, finally got home last night. So it was,
Everybody's gear make it?
Everybody's gear made it, and we were able to practice this afternoon.
See, that's all you need, man.
Got to look at the positives.
Positive spot. Quite the experience for sure.
Yeah.
And, the positive with that is obviously you guys made it back. A little team bonding.
Yeah.
And, it's unfortunate, but it's, since I wasn't on the trip, that's pretty funny. You know what I mean? Like I said, I did feel bad for you guys, but just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Because, Mom and Dad, if you're listening, or anybody out there playing sports, every team has gone through something similar. A coach, a player, whatever. You've gone through the worst. Even the holidays. There's nothing you can do, man. You know what I mean? You can be bitch and moan all you want and be that Karen in the airport, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, man.
What are you going to do? Yeah. Unless you're in the NHL, you don't control the travel.
Right.
You just don't. And so if you've been at this level long enough, you have a story similar to this at some point or another.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And honestly, it's just going to build more resilience in our team, something to look back on.
Yeah.
And the good news is that we're going to be right back at the airport at about our flight's at 5:55 a.m. tomorrow.
Is everybody on the same? For the most part, everyone's on the same flight.
Except for 3. Yeah.
Except for 3. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And you're flying Southwest, which is probably even better.
Yeah, a little better.
Knock on wood, now that I ruined that shit.
You know what? Screw you, American Airlines. I'm never flying American again. I cannot. Every time I fly American, something happens. Something happens.
Yeah. But, so you're off to, we'll make this quick. We got to get off. But you leave tomorrow to Atlanta.
Yep.
3 games there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Best of luck to you, Mikey.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys with 1 day practice and then the shenanigans that you just been through doesn't affect anything, which I don't think it will. I think it'll be a positive thing for you guys.
Yeah.
And providing you make it there. Good luck in Atlanta.
Thank you.
Thanks for the stories. It's great to see you again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I missed you guys. And it'll be 5 more days before I see you again.
Yeah, perfect, man. Well, anyway, Mikey, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. I know it's been a crazy, crazy little bit, and we're kind of shooting this a little late. But anyway, thanks for joining.
Anytime.
Best of luck, and we'll talk next week. Thanks, everyone.